Well, maybe like me, you're always looking for a great, fresh book for your kids. You're going to love my next author. Her name is Suzanne Perrin, and she's written a book called Mrs. Ladybug. It's not only fresh and just so amazing, it's got this great message behind it. Welcome, Suzanne.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Suzanne, there's so much I want to talk to you about with this book, because we're always looking for these amazing books with these nuggets of wisdom that our children don't even realize they're getting because it's such an enjoyable book. But let's start by what the book is generally about.
The book itself is about a little ladybug with a perfect house and a perfect life, just the way she wants it. But she's interrupted by the life of an ant family. And it's messing up her life. And she just really doesn't like that very much because things are not perfect the way she wants them to be. And so she decides she needs to get rid of this ant family.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I mean, so what is the general message and the overall, what are those nuggets that kids are going to take away? Is it about perfection and having to kind of roll a little bit?
Yeah, it's a little bit about that. It's a little bit about teaching them that our lives can be perfect when we involve other people in it, and a little bit about making room for friendships and allowing ourselves to see that life can be great when we involve other people's ideas, other people's ways of living, that we need to make room for change. We need to make room for friendship. We need to let people in.
Suzanne, that's a beautiful message. I mean, that hopefully the adults that are reading this to the kids are getting as well.
That's the point. That's the point. The book is too hard for little kids to read to themselves on purpose. Mm-hmm. And that is so that the teachers and the parents are going to read it to them. And that opens up some conversation.
How did you come up with the idea of this?
Gosh, it was during a writing course I was taking at the Institute for Children's Literature. And somehow or other along the way, this popped into my head. And I just went with it.
How important is it that we're sitting down with our kids and reading to them?
Oh, gosh. There's nothing more important than spending time reading with your children.
Why is that? We hear it all the time, but I really would like to hear why.
Because it's a bonding time. It's that closeness, that snuggle time. It's that focus on each other time without any other distractions from anybody or anything. So there's that physical contact as well as the visual contact, and being on the same page and thinking about the same thing at the same time, and opening up the conversation and asking the questions and instilling the opening of an imagination and accepting each other's points of views. There's just so much involved in it. It's such a complex thing.
A couple things come to mind. First of all, whenever you ask an adult, where did they get their love of reading? Most of the time it comes from, well, my parents read to me when I was little.
Yeah, not for me.
No.
No. I did not really grow up being read to. I remember looking at books myself when I was little. But I do not remember having my parents read to me at all. I don't remember my teachers reading to me at all. And perhaps that's why it's so important to me, because as an adult and as a mother and as a grandmother, I read to my grandchildren and I read to my children. And of course, my students. Mm-hmm. And you see what comes from it. It's amazing.
Suzanne, some people walk into a store full of materials and crafts, and they just get so excited. Is there a thrill that you get walking into a bookstore or a library?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, gosh, you walk in and, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing, because unless a book is displayed properly up on a shelf where you can see the pictures and see the cover, it's a bit overwhelming. You know, you just see all the ends.
Where do you
of the
start?
book.
Sure.
And it's a bit much, really. It can be a bit overwhelming. But once you figure out where you want to be and what you're looking for, there's such a variety, and you just want to open every single book and see what's inside and just look at the pictures. And I think for me, that's the first thing. The illustrations are what draws me in first before I ever read the storybook at all.
So let's look at Mrs. Ladybug illustrations. I'm guessing they are out of this world. Oh, that's beautiful. The cover.
Thank you. Each picture in here is actually a work of art. My daughter is an artist and the illustrator of this book.
Wow.
And I'm going to be backwards again. Here we are. So she puts incredible detail into each picture. They are all sketched and then painted with watercolors.
And they're big. I love the fact there's so much detail. They're not just tiny. You can actually take your finger and talk with your child about, different areas and sections of it.
That's right. And inside each page, there's little hidden pictures. So little pictures of aphids and funny little insects in there. And her imagination as she looks inside the ant house. Have you ever seen inside an ant house before?
I've never seen inside an ant house.
In Katie's mind, this is what it looks like. And she's got the little groceries and the bits, of course, it's bits of food that they've found along the way. And then you can see inside the kitchen and Mrs. Bug peeking in her little shoes and her little scarf. So much detail for children to look at.
Yes.
And each picture on this side is an introduction to what's going to happen on the next page, which is one of the things I love, is that it's a little sneak peek into what's coming next.
It's organized. Yes. I love that.
This teacup, by the way, was my mother's teacup.
It's beautiful.
And so, there are so many special things that can be found inside a children's book. So many special things.
Suzanne, we talk about the fact that it's a children's book. Well, we've already established that parents and Sunday school teachers and neighbor friends that are reading to children are going to glean so much from this. But typically, what age do you write for?
Typically, I'm writing for 3-year-olds to 11-year-olds, possibly 12, depending on the child. Depending, Yeah, I like to get into the minds of the little ones. And I still have that ability to see through the eyes of a child and see the small little details and see things from their perspective.
That innocence.
Yeah.
Suzanne, we're kind of wrapping up, but I guess I want to ask you, what is it, whether it's a child or an adult that reads this book, what do you hope that they end saying, feeling, thinking after they read your book?
I would really like the lesson to be about friendship. Just taking the time to get to know people, taking the time to get to know people that you may not have wanted to get to know in the first place. To accept that it doesn't matter how different people are, we all have something very special and very unique to offer. Take the time to meet people. Take the time to make friends with people.
Make your life richer. Yeah.
All kinds of people.
Yeah.
All kinds of people.
Suzanne, where is your book available and how can we get that?
That book is available in Writers Republic online. You can get it through Amazon. And it's available through websites in New Zealand, Australia, and in the UK also.
Congratulations. Sharing that message around the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.